Hello, I'm Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be talking about the new Monster Point Shop survey that's coming to North America. So, this is a very exciting event because it's going to enable the player base to vote for their favorite 6-star Godfest exclusive, and that card will be part of a limited time rotation within the Monster Point Shop for approximately 1,000 Monster Points. Japan had it for 1,000 Monster Points, so I don't see why we wouldn't as well. So, this is obviously very exciting because now we can potentially gain access to what would be normally a very rare and challenging to acquire card, and hopefully it's something that's going to help propel our pad experience moving forward. As with like Player's Choice Godfest and this, there's going to be lots of people out there basically saying like vote XYZ, and while voting for say XYZ may be beneficial for them, it may not necessarily be as helpful for yourself. So you still should usually vote for what is most beneficial for yourself. However, what I would strongly encourage is you actually vote for something that has lots of staying power moving forward. There is no point in voting for something that's going to become outdated or irrelevant within a short period of time, because a million monster points is a silly high amount. And if we look at, say, Dark Athena was great upon debut, but a couple months afterwards, it was kind of like, well, we have better toys now. Like, there's no real need. So we don't want to have our vote go to waste for that reason. Now, this article will summarize who I feel are going to be the most heavily contested or voted for cards, as well as explain the future upcoming Godfest exclusive trading posts that's already available in Japan. Now, as always, you can visit my website to read along at your own pace, and there will have links for the voting for the North America page. So, the Monster Point survey. So, I don't know why it says that. It shouldn't say that. It should say survey. And basically, Japan has basically received this event in which Yogg was the voted monster, and it was available for 1,000,000 monster points. So this is a very expensive card. Like, it's more expensive than Dark Athena, more expensive than the other new monster point cards coming out that are also 750,000. So you have to think, is it really worth the purchase for 1,000,000 monster points? Because that is obviously very expensive. And you think, well, maybe I liquidate my box to get monster points, but then that's a bad idea as well, because you don't really want to lose out on cards unless you have excessive amounts of duplicates. So we want to make sure that the card we vote in has staying power moving forward, and ideally they have either a brand new evolution in Japan that's strong or something hopefully in the works that we may or may not know about. So these are my speculations for what are going to be the most voted or heavily contested cards for North America. Maybe it may vary, but I'm only going to highlight these four that I feel are going to be the most popular ones. So Cotton is what I feel is going to be my foremost and front runner in terms of like value as well as possibly being voted in, because Cotton is basically arguably one of the strongest and most well-rounded cards in the game, because they have double 7 combo, bind immunity, follow-up attack, they have amazing cuteness, and they have incredible flexibility. Cotton can be evolved to 5 distinct evolutions, and those 5 evolutions will change her primary attribute as well as the active skill, as well as giving different stat distribution and typing. So this is important because you're basically able to customize your Cotton exactly as you need for your particular team. Like, for example, let's say you are playing with a mono blue team. You want a follow-up attack. Well, great, we can get blue Cotton. Let's say you're playing with the future green Sonya. You need follow-up attack. Oh, look, green Cotton. Like, you kind of see where this is going. Like, she is so flexible and can be utilized everywhere. And this is why she's probably, I feel, the best choice, because A, you want duplicates of her, because if you get your first Cotton, you're very happy. Get your second Cotton, you're still happy because, well, you're going to make a new color and you're going to have new value. And that's why she's so valuable, because other cards you might have duplicates of and you think, well, that's a little disappointing. Like, you buy it for 1,000,000 monster points, roll the next Godfest, and you get that card again. You're like, oh, it's kind of not so happy feeling inside. Whereas Cotton, at least you have tremendous value all the time. Like, you can have different colors, and you're never going to be sad if you have. And also, because you can purchase the same card multiple times from the Monster Point shop, you could, in theory, purchase multiple Cottons, and you're still going to be just as happy, most likely. Now, a lot of players are saying, well, we could also vote for Ney, who's also has 5 distinct evolutions. But Cotton pretty much eclipses Ney in almost every way, shape, and form, and it's very rare where you'd actually want to run Ney over Cotton, just because Ney does not have the follow-up attack, and being able to have follow-up attack on a very high damaging card is invaluable. The next card I feel who might make an appearance is Matcha. So Matcha possesses one of the 2 leader swapping abilities we have in North America, and Lee is the other option. But the thing is, Lee only comes from a 10-stone limited time rared machine. So obviously it's twice as costly to roll, and it's not available all the time. So the ability to access active skills like Matcha is very rare. So this is important because you're able to basically either utilize a 7x6 or Ganesha for various dungeons, and that can definitely improve your performance or stamina efficiency. So For example, let's say you love playing Anubis, but you kind of struggle to hit those 8+ combos on a 6x5 board, and you really want to keep playing Anubis because it's your favorite character. Now, what you can do is you get a Matcha and you inherit Matcha onto your Anubis. And what you do is you enter the dungeon with Anubis as a sub and, for example, your Diao Chan as a leader. So Diao Chan as a leader gives you a 7x6 board and you pair with an Anubis friend. So you still have at least a reasonable multiplier, but you have the bigger board. And then over time, your Anubis as a sub of Matcha inherited will charge up and then you leader swap him into place. Once he's been leader swapped in, now you still retain your 7x6 board while also having double Anubis. Now you have 900 times damage on a much higher consistency basis, as well as the bigger board. So everyone's happy. You can apply this to basically any team because virtually every single team performs better on 7x6 because you have 12 additional orbs, potentially 14 combos available. So your average combo count is going to be higher. Scaling multipliers like this obviously takes off a lot quicker, but perhaps the teams that gain the most from leader swapping are color crosses, like say Roshana. So color cross teams, they can only make if they use 2 different colors, 3 color crosses on a 6x5 board. You can Skyfall one to place, but really good luck doing that. So it's you have a certain cap in terms of damage output because 3 crosses tends to kill everything. 2 may or may not depending on the spawn. But when you have a 7x6 board, you're much more likely to have 3 crosses available on a regular basis. So you're going to smash your way through it. You will have probably 7 combos as well to even tap into the 7 combo awakenings. But the big appeal is you can start having 4 or 5 crosses on a given board. And that's when the damage truly takes off and explodes. Like you're going to be doing like ridiculous amounts of damage with a 7x6 color cross team. Like you don't even need awakenings and you can one-shot basically most stuff. It's kind of amazing for the most part. So this is why Matcha is going to help basically make every team stronger because you're going to have a bit of an easier time, especially in longer content where the dungeon is long enough to actually charge up the leader swap. So I guess the main issue with Matcha is you don't want duplicates that badly. Like a duplicate Matcha doesn't really serve much purpose, as well as it being obviously more targeted towards endgame players, so perhaps the average player base may not find enough value in Matcha to actually vote her in. Next is Fujin. So Fujin is going to be one of the more popular cards to have because everyone's thinking, I need Fujin to clear content. And while that is true to a certain extent, we still clear things like Arena 3 before Fujin even existed. Fujin just makes your life easier. But then again, to a certain extent, leaders are coming out with less damage control. Gung-Ho's realized that, well, we have counters to these mechanics that we don't need damage control. We have follow-up attack, we have box awakens, and we have Fujin-style active skills. So a lot of these newer leaders don't have any form of real damage control or scaling, so you need a Fujin to clear those content. And that's kind of unfortunate. Like beforehand, you could get away, like say when I used to farm Arena 3 of Mary or Miru, I didn't need Fujin. I could damage control my way through all the spawns. So it was doable. But nowadays, when you have all these teams with no damage control, you need this Fujin to survive. So that is a little problematic. And the damage absorb void is good against like Hera Dragon, Parvati, Vishnu, Sopdet, but it's still obviously quite niche for the most part. Now, you can always argue that, well, I can just pair with a Fujin, a friend who has a Fujin inherited on his leader, and that does work for the most part. Like, you can get away with that. It's kind of like how you didn't need Diablos. You can piggyback off of a Diablos friend. The same can be kind of said for Fujin. So voting for Fujin, like, it sounds great overall, but the thing is, you don't want duplicates of her really, because you only need one Fujin for the most part, as well as the fact that many other cards are starting to have Fujin-style active skills. We have a 6-star Pantheon, we have several other collab cards, but perhaps the most important issue is that with the Godfest exclusive trading posts, we are going to be able to trade 4 6-star Godfest exclusives for a rare card of our choice, which means we could trade 4 duplicates of bad 6-star Godfest exclusives we own for a Beach Fujin. So that essentially amounts to 200,000 monster points to gain a Beach Fujin. You'll have the Fujin style active skill, but you spent way less monster points and you still have much more available overall to purchase for the voted cards. So this is why I feel like Fujin, it is valuable, but it's not necessarily as important to have voted in, because again, you don't want duplicates, and we are going to have the Godfest exclusive trading post to trade our excess of cards in for Beach Fujin, and that's why I strongly caution against selling your Godfest exclusive cards, because we want to keep those for that new trading system coming out. So Fujin's still powerful, but I feel like Cotton is still the stronger option overall. And now we come to Yogg. So Yogg was the top voted monster in Japan, but the main problem is Yogg truly excels at Cosmic Trinity Annihilation farming CTA. So while that's all fine and dandy, it's not really needed for the most part. The people who farm Cosmic Trinity heavily have already stopped farming it, and they probably used Yogg already, so they don't want more Yoggs. And then, to be fair, you farm the cards, you get the drops, you skill them up, and then they just kind of sit in your box as a box cheerleader because you really don't use them that often, to be honest. So it's a little hard to really justify Yogg's usage, I feel, overall. Yes, you can obviously mow through easier level content. Beginning players will have a great time mowing through like the mid game, but then they'll hit the end game dungeons and they'll be like, wow, I can't use Yogg, this is terrible. So they'll spend 1,000,000 monster points and then they hit the wall for like just general end game content, and that's when they're gonna have a bad time, because Yogg obviously excels at shorter dungeons where you can plan out your active skill usage, easier dungeons of course as well as ranking dungeons, but again, those are all kind of niche and specific for the most part. So Yogg may not necessarily be the best choice overall, because how are you going to utilize them efficiently? Like, what are you going to actually be playing through that's hard outside of like Cosmic Trinity Annihilation? And now we come to the Godfest exclusive trading post. So this may be a different name when it comes to North America. I could be wrong with the name, but the general idea is you are able to trade in 4 specific cards, either 6-star Godfest exclusives or the seasonal cards that are being available. So like, for instance, in the beach event, you could trade various other beach cards for a beach Fujin, as well as a mixture of 6-star Godfest exclusives. There is a pool of, I think, about 20 odd cards you can choose from, so you can basically choose which 4 you want to trade in, and then you get one of your choice. So this is obviously very valuable because it gives merit or value to those duplicate cards you don't really have much use for, but it allows us to basically gain a very rare collab card without necessarily rolling in. So for example, in Full Metal Alchemist, people rolled so hard for Edward, but a lot of people got unlucky. They rolled many King Bradleys. Well, hopefully this trading system, we could trade in those King Bradleys and other duplicate 6-star cards we don't care for and get an Edward. So with this in mind, you obviously can snag yourself a beach Fujin in the future if you're desperate for that Fujin style active skill. So again, that's why there's a lesser need to actually vote her in. So this new kind of mechanic overall is going to be quite exciting when it comes to North America, and I will cover it more extensively when it does arrive. My guess is a couple months time from now. So in conclusion, this Monster Point survey is an exciting time for pad players because it does give us a chance to basically vote for our favorite cards. Now, we obviously want to try and vote for something that has long-lasting staying power, because we don't want to encounter that Dark Athena scenario where you spend all your monster points, you have a great time initially, and then a couple months down the road, we lose all its value. So we don't want that to happen. We also ideally want to vote in a card that we can or like to have duplicates of, because, well, we are probably going to buy it, and then we might even roll one down the road in the future. So we don't want to run the situation where we have, say, 2 Matchas, for example, and we're like, oh, I can't really use them that well. Still, Matcha is still a great choice overall, but you kind of get where I'm going at. So let me know who you plan to vote for in the comments below and the rationale behind why you are voting for that card. Hopefully you all have a Mantastic day. I wish you all the best of luck in your own pad adventures, and happy puzzling.